Hello there, people. Let's start in the United States of America and the leading economic indicators from economic pick data. This is the one where he puts lines in for what the Fed can control and what the Fed cannot control. And both of them have now gone negative. This is negative on those which are leading economic indicators. As you can see, generally, over the last 9 months, they have been showing positive. But over the last 3 months, they have moved negative, negative, negative. This is a leading economic indicator of the probability of the whole American economy moving from blah plus to blah, blah, blah. Right. Next, I've taken this little snip from Amazon.com because I'm naughty like that. This Peter Schiff has got a new book out. It's being released on the 22nd of May, so in a few days. And Amazon were thinking of releasing it at $25.99, but it is reduced down to $16.99. I'm only really throwing that in because I would think there'll be all sorts about inflation and hyperinflation in the book. But Amazon think the book is deflationary. Moving on. Right, German police used only 85 bullets against people in 2011. Now this is kind of towards the American end of the everything, because this is to show Americans that, or USAans, that things can be done differently. According to Germany's Der Spiegel, German police shot only 85 bullets in the whole of 2011, a stark reminder that not every country is as gun crazy as the United States of America. Most of those shots weren't even aimed at people. 49 were warning shots, 36 shots were on suspects, making for 15 people injured and 6 killed. Later in the article we get one incident in the United States, in Los Angeles I think, where police let loose 90 rounds of ammo on an unarmed man who was trying to escape them. So 90 on one unarmed man in Los Angeles, more than the entire police force in the entire country of Germany for the entire year of 2011. Just saying. What have we got here? Air cargo. This is from Nomura and quite interesting. I haven't done air cargo before. This is World Air Cargo, which is in grey, and the global industrial production growth, which is in red. Both of these are percentage up and percentage down type things. And you can see the general shape that the great coming down of both of them together, parallel, was for the Great Recession. And you can see before that there was a vague correlation between the two, and it's since the Great Recession it's really been tight. And what we have at the moment is industrial production coming in later than the information on air cargo growth, and industrial production is hanging on there in the air. And where is it going to fly to, or is it going to fall? If the correlation continues, it will follow air cargo growth down through 0, through -5, and on down towards -10, trying to emulate the Great Recession. Just another thing to say, the United States is going from blah plus to blah. The rest of the world, wherever they might be, are going to come down a notch probably from where they are. Right. And China obviously has to be taken into account here, and also Sprachanalyst.com has had a go at this. What we have is capital flow in blue, the bars in blue, trade surplus in red, and green is the two of them added together or taken away depending which way they are, plus or negative. So the trade surplus, if they export more than they import, which is obviously normal for China, as you can see going back to 2008, it's very rare that they import more than they export. A couple of little turn downs, but one really big one a couple of months ago. The more important one from this chart is capital flow, money coming in to, say, build a new factory in China or whatever. And that has really come down. Again, it was generally, except in 2008, where there are a couple of examples of sticky downness, it's generally all sticky upness. But if you look back the last 6 months, 4 of those last 6 months have been sticky downing. The general consensus is that you don't put your money into China at the moment because they are looking well dodgy. Right. Over into Europe, we've got to do a little bit of Europe and just an exhibition to show how desperate people are to come up with ways of Europe getting out of its problems is ex-ECB chief Trichet unveils a bold plan to save euro. Europe could strengthen its monetary union by giving European politicians the power to declare a sovereign state bankrupt and take over its fiscal policy, the former head of the European Central Bank said on Thursday, in unveiling a bold proposal to salvage the euro. So let's go for that again. Europe could strengthen its monetary union, so stick everyone together a lot stronger, by giving European politicians, that's a bit vague, isn't it? European politicians, but European politicians, okay, the power to declare a sovereign state, France, for example, Spain, Greece, Italy, Germany, declare a sovereign state bankrupt. The European politicians get together, have a committee meeting and say, Germany is bankrupt, Italy is bankrupt, Greece is bankrupt, whatever it might be, and then take over fiscal policy. In other words, basically, then the European politicians take over the running of that sovereign state. Not very sovereign. So I would be imagining somewhere along the line that the various sovereign states that would be involved in this would have to have a little chit-chat in their own parliaments, that's parley, speaking. They'll have a little speak to each other in their own parliaments, in their sovereign parliaments, and say, do we want to, I'm sure they'd have to sign something, do we want to sign over to European politicians the power, when they see fit in their committee meeting, to declare us, our sovereign, bankrupt, and then take over our fiscal policy, basically take over the running of our government? Do we really think that they are going to sign that? No. So, again, it's just to show how desperate these people are. It's just another example. They're all over the place. Plenty of ideas of how to solve this euro crisis, but they are all horrible. Because there is no easy way. There's no even nice way or semi-nice way or non-horrible way to cure, if it's even possible, this Eurozone crisis. Right, I put this one in and yellowed up the date, which is March the 10th, but it's March the 10th in 2010. So we've got Romano Prodi here, who is a classic European politician. He's done everything. He's run Italy and he's been a big hitter in the European Parliament sort of thing. So he would certainly be on the sort of committee which would decide whether your sovereign country was bankrupt or not, and be on the sort of controlling end of then taking over your country to run it for you. Because they have decided not run it properly. So on March the 10th, 2010, Romano Prodi said the worst of the Greece's financial crisis is over, and other European nations won't follow in its path. For Greece, the problem is completely over, said Prodi, who was also Italian Prime Minister. I don't see any other case now in Europe. I don't think there is any reason to think the euro system will collapse or will suffer greatly because of Greece. But that's a beauty, isn't it? For Greece, the problem is completely over, and that was 2 years ago. See, this is the trouble with trying to predict the future. It's probably best that your own country's representatives try badly to predict your future than passing the buck over to some other people to try and predict your future. Because that's what bankruptcy is, isn't it? It's saying, I don't think in the future that you will be able to pay your debts and whatever. And then they say, we'll do it better, we'll take over. No, I don't think there will be a move in that direction. Politicians, when it comes down to it, will try and protect their own power base. And probably quite rightly too. Right. Finish with this. Portugal, trying to do what they can in Portugal, but really the tide is just slowly coming in on Portugal and it's getting swamped. People aren't talking about it because they're talking about Spain and Italy and Greece, but slowly by slowly Portugal is getting swamped. But its sovereign government is doing what it can. Portugal has resorted to cutting 4 of its 14 annual public holidays in an attempt to trim its budget deficit and boost economic output as speculation grows that it will require a second bailout. Had to be done, so they've decided that everyone should work 4 days more in the year, and that's, you know, think of the percentage, it's something. They are trying, and we'll just have to see how everyone succeeds with the trying that they're doing. Right, that's it from me. Goodbye.